picking key words here. So my first word is welcome, and I welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen. Drewton's opened 11 and a half years ago, and the Manor Rooms, where you are today, 3 years ago. We employ around 55 local people. We work with around 500 local businesses, ranging from producers, growers, farmers, suppliers, to both the farm shop and also for the weddings and events venue. My second word is congratulate. No one could predict what we were going to experience this last couple of years. So I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you. You all deserve a huge pat on the back. We're here today, and that's because we've made it. Delighted. I'm delighted to see we've gained some new members to the local food network, which is a positive note. Obviously, this is launching today, but I'm equally sad to see that we've lost a few along the way. It has been a very difficult time for many. My fourth word is innovate. Throughout a difficult couple of years, there have been so many challenges, both in business and at home, along with much heartache and financial worries. I'd like to salute you all with riding this roller coaster and being innovative, making the most of a very bad situation. And grateful. I'm grateful for a lot of things. Personally, for the support during this time, for the team for being so motivational and pulling together, being as positive and creative as they could be, when I believed we had a duty to supply and provide for the local community with home deliveries and safe collections. To all our local suppliers and producers for meeting orders as efficiently as possible. To all our customers for their patience and for supporting local. For the council's support and our network of food and drink businesses, accommodation providers, restaurants and retailers for thinking outside of the box and looking after everyone. And of course for the wonders of technology, social media, websites, online retailing, and of course Zoom, keeping us all in touch with each other. Trust. People trust local, and with good old Yorkshire grit and determination, and unfortunately with this new challenge and roller coaster ahead of us, the ride means we have to continue to remain focused and positive. We did it during COVID times and we have to do it again. We need to keep developing and thinking of how we can overcome the rising prices we're now faced with. And there are 4 key cost rises in mind. Wage increases with the knock-on effect of the national insurance rises. Fuel costs, whether it's for travel, heating, power, cooking oil. Supplier price increases as they're also feeling the pinch, and of course the VAT reductions are now abolished and we're back to 20%. Most of our businesses are now facing these challenges and prices have to reflect these pressures, of course. So we're all about convenience. We need to offer more to our guests and visitors to help further our businesses. Perhaps look at packages and deals again like we did in lockdown. We all did it very, very well. And we need to offer value for money. Our customers are the best source of advertising, spreading the word, so give them something to talk about. And we have to meet customer expectations, going above and beyond every time, making their experience special, whether it's in person, on the telephone, via email or other avenues. Marketing. We need to learn more about target audience and how you can reach out to them. We're all here because we're passionate about our businesses. We need to survive, we have survived, and we have a story to tell, and everybody loves a story. And power of local. Promote local. It's all about us here in this room today. How can our businesses work together to support each other? Can we share deliveries from producers to retailers to help reduce delivery costs? Can we arrange food deliveries to self-catering accommodation providers and dine-at-home meals featuring local produce and quality wines? We're all feeling the pinch, and there will be many people who will question the cost of dining out, booking a weekend away, visiting a tourist attraction. Bear in mind the cost of fuel or taxis, babysitting costs, increased menu and hotel prices, shopping trips becoming more expensive, as well as utility bills increasing at home. Will venturing out be a special occasion only? So please bear all these things in mind. And if you're not a member of the local food and rural tourism network, then please think about joining the group and also the steering group. I've been privileged to be a director and a member of the steering group over many years, and now I take on the role of chair this year. It's a huge privilege. If our team can help with the farm shop restaurant or from a wedding events point of view, then please come and have a chat. And positive thinking. It can be extremely draining, but you can ride these waves again. Please bear in mind the key words I focused on to kickstart the conference today. I'll just reiterate. Welcome, congratulate, delight, innovate, grateful, trust, convenience, value for money, meet customer expectations, marketing, the power of local, positive thinking, and finally, thank you. Always remember to show appreciation. So from me, I thank you for listening, and I welcome you here today, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much indeed for that, Katie. And if I can just introduce myself, I'm Councillor Jonathan Owen, leader of the East Riding of Yorkshire Council. I'd just like to say thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words here today. I am absolutely delighted to be at the award-winning Drutons, and particularly face-to-face for the first time in a number of years. So it's really nice to be back seeing people face-to-face, and it's really good to be here. The only reason I'm in East Yorkshire is we returned to the area, my wife and I, quite a few years ago now, to take over the family hotel and restaurant business after a death in the family. So that's why I'm in East Yorkshire, and that was back in 1989. And we know only too well, running the hotel and restaurant business, the attraction of both East Yorkshire and of serving local produce, whether it was the meat slaughtered at the butchers, which was still happening in our village, and also the local supplies from the coast, seafood, etc. And we've long known the value of locally sourced produce. We actually left the business some years ago, but since then have seen the growth in the tourism offer and the desire to enjoy local food, whether through farmers' markets or, more importantly, the range of small local suppliers, supplying that local need to hotels, pubs, restaurants, shops, and other areas. Who was to know, though, how the world would be changed through the onset of COVID, closure of hospitality venues, lockdowns, etc., etc. But also, who would have known the ingenuity of people in responding, finding different markets and different ways of delivering their products and services. Today's event makes reference to exceeding expectations in a fast-changing world. And as we recover from COVID and return to some semblance of normality, customer expectations will continue to be high, as we are now used to holidaying in the UK, to home deliveries, and looking for new tastes and experiences. A new pressure is now hitting with increased energy costs and with the war in Ukraine, increased food costs as fertiliser prices and other commodities soar, affecting the food chain. What has changed, though, since I was involved in the hospitality trade is the use of social media and online ways to promote, to do business, and above all, to raise awareness of products. There will be an increasingly difficult balance between quality, value, and price. There will be a need to continue to innovate, as well as finding ways to work together in partnership. Above all, though, there is a sense of optimism. The network's membership is increasing, not falling, and there is a public out there increasingly looking to do the right thing and buy locally as we endeavour to lessen our carbon footprint at the same time as supporting local producers. I hope that the Council will continue to support the network in any way it can, and I look forward to hearing the positive messages today as we look to the future. Thank you very much indeed.
Good morning, everyone. After holding our annual spring event virtually last year, it's great that we can meet in person again and that so many of you have been able to join us. I'd like to start by thanking Katie for a warm welcome and for hosting our event today. 2 years later than originally planned, but I'm sure the wait will be worth it. Thank you also to Councillor Owen for his encouraging open remarks and reiterating the Council's commitment to supporting rural businesses. I'd also like to thank our exhibitors and the Network Steering Group, who give their time voluntarily, for their invaluable guidance and support throughout another unpredictable year. And to our partners, in particular Visit East Yorkshire, who we work closely with. Although it's been a difficult year in some ways, it's been great to see how many of our members have continued to adapt their businesses and come up with more innovative ways to keep going as we have started to return to some kind of normality. I really admire your passion and determination to succeed. And as was said earlier, despite having unfortunately lost a few businesses due to the pandemic, I'm delighted to say that our membership has continued to increase as businesses have appreciated all the more the benefits of working together. Over the past year, I've been fielding lots of inquiries and signposting members to different teams within the Council and to partners for advice and guidance. Our members have been sharing information and experiences on the network's private Facebook group and Twitter account, and we've been producing regular e-bulletins to keep everyone up to date. We were able to distribute the remaining 2020 Enjoy Local Food and Drink guides and posters last year in a COVID-safe way, with stickers directing people to the Visit East Yorkshire website. Malcolm, supported by Patrick and Sam from the Countryside Access team, led networking walks along various sections of the Yorkshire Wolds Way to meet government guidelines in place at the time, which provided an informal way for members to network and gain some product knowledge, whilst enjoying the stunning scenery and sampling some of our members' delicious local produce al fresco. It was great to be able to get out and about again and promote our members and all that our area has to offer to visitors at Driffield Show, where we shared a stand with Visit East Yorkshire. Helen from Major Look, who is with us today, inspired us with a series of window dressing and visual display workshops during the autumn, which gave us all a lot of food for thought. In December, we had a stall at the first Made in East Yorkshire Christmas market in Beverley, so again, another opportunity to get out and about. Later this morning, we're looking forward to launching the 2022 Local Food Guide, which will be our 20th edition, and our new Field to Plate logo. This year, we've also produced an e-guide with hyperlinks to members' websites, which will feature on the Visit East Yorkshire and the rural page of the East Riding website, and will also be circulated to members for you all to use as well. Don't forget to take a supply of the guides back to your businesses for customers when you leave. We've got some boxes near the registration desk, so you're welcome to take any back with you. We plan to run a programme of activity throughout the rest of the year, including more networking walks, visits to other members and further workshops, helping to increase our product knowledge and promote what's on offer on our doorstep for all of our visitors and all of us to enjoy. From the stunning scenery, great outdoor activities and delicious local produce, to the amazing wildlife and fascinating heritage. Look out for our regular e-bulletins to keep up to date with the latest news, opportunities and details of networking events. As Katie said earlier, if anyone would like to find out more about membership of the network, which is free to join, or about joining our steering group, which meets quarterly, please come and see us on the network stand. I would just like to take this opportunity to welcome our newest members, Andy and Lindsay from the Highfield House and Grounds in Driffield. We just received a partnership form to join VHA and the network on Friday, so I quickly got in touch and said, I know it's short notice, but if you're free, it's a good chance to come and meet us and the Visit East Yorkshire team and all the other members, so welcome. And I think also Becky from Street Farm Cottages, who just joined a couple of weeks ago, so they're our newest members. So please keep in touch and share your news with us and other members. I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with you all to maximise opportunities to help your businesses to grow and the wider rural economy. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you all the very best for the coming season. And now we're celebrating several anniversaries this morning, so it's my pleasure to hand over to our next two speakers, Mark Blakeston, who is going to help us discover the wonders of the Wold Rangers Way, which celebrates its first anniversary this August, followed by Malcolm Hodgson, National Trails Officer from the Yorkshire Wolds Way, celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. Thank you.
I'm Mark Blakeston. I'm here today as a trustee of the Wold Rangers Way. And I'm just going to give you a brief introduction to the Wold Rangers and a little bit of background on the walk itself. So the Wold Rangers Way I created over 2 or 3 years during the COVID pandemic, and we actually launched it last August in Driffield. We had a huge amount of support in launching that from East Riding of Yorkshire Council Countryside Access Team and their colleagues in the North Yorkshire County Council. The Ramblers have been really instrumental in getting the way marked and the route markers laid out. And we enjoyed some funding from Sport England and from Heritage Lottery as well, which enabled us to pay for the route markers and for various other pieces of material that we've used since we've launched. So the Wold Rangers, I grew up with my grandparents in Fridaythorpe, and my granddad used to tell me the story about some of the Wold Rangers. Slightly terrified me, if I'm honest, but in the main there were friendly, nomadic people who for various reasons were homeless or chose to be homeless, and they spent their lives wandering the Yorkshire Wolds, from farm to farm, picking up work. Some of them chose the lifestyle. Some of them would recognise today as being sort of disadvantaged, and maybe they come back from the wars and they had what we know as PTSD. But they were real characters, and some of the characters are just about on the edges of people's memories now. So Dog Geordie there was one of the last of the Wold Rangers, and you speak to some of the older people in Driffield and on the farms on the Wolds, and they remember him actually coming into Driffield with his bagfuls of rabbits and swapping them for a breakfast in Marketplace before cadging a lift to Hull to do whatever he needed to do. He lived his life on the Green Lanes, never actually lived in any proper accommodation, and in his last years, Driffield Urban District Council bought a caravan for him to live in one of the chalk pits because he just couldn't settle. So that kind of inspired it, and that allowed us to tell the story of the Wold Rangers and keep that unique folklore of the Yorkshire Wolds alive through the Wold Rangers Way. So we launched it, the High Sheriff of the East Riding of Yorkshire launched us in April last year. We became a registered charity with a remit to get people out and enjoy walking, and obviously the timing of that was perfect with COVID. But also we're looking to explore some of those origins of the Wold Rangers in terms of perhaps homelessness and mental health issues. We had 150 walkers who turned up in Marketplace on a beautiful summer's day, and we led 10 guided walks around the Wolds from 3 miles on that day up to 17 miles. And then since then, we've been leading free guided walks for groups and for the general public on a regular basis. We actually had some actors, some of the funding from Heritage Lottery paid for a company called Rusticus to play the parts of some of the Wold Rangers, which was really interesting. We've also got lots of Wold Ranger merchandise, and installed in Marketplace in Driffield there, we've got a dedicated map and some Wold Ranger benches, so that's the real focal point of where the walk starts. You can't probably see that, but one of the beauties of this is it's a circular walk. So we got the illustrated map there, and one of the things you might notice is there's some QR codes. So what we've done there is pulled out places to eat, drink and sleep along the route. It is possible to walk the 44 miles in a day, I know because I've done it. I currently hold the record and I'm waiting for somebody to try to break it. Ideally, you might take a few days. It's a fantastic route. I had a young couple last year who actually spent a week of their holiday. They stayed in lodges and campsites along the route, and it's very, very doable. We've got the maps on the website. We've got a few on the table at the back to look at. You can download them. We've got the GPX files, so they work on your mobile device. The points of interest are just encouraging people to stay in the area and visit some of the places around the Wolds. In addition, though, what we've done is created some shorter routes, or trods, as we call them in Yorkshire. They all start and finish in Marketplace. They all leave Driffield in exactly the same way, and they're designed to encourage people to kind of push the boundaries a little bit. So the first one, named after Crew Mabel, is 3 miles. Crew Mabel actually lived on the Wolds her entire life, and she died in a care home in Pocklington. But even in her 80s, she used to escape during the summer and go and camp out up on the Wolds by herself. Her thing was to go around the farms, and she used to beg clothing from farmers' wives and then take them to Driffield and sell them for rags. But very often she used to try them on, and there's a fantastic story of her camping with a tent and a cooking and a fire going down Elmswell Green Lane in a gold lame evening dress. Crew Mabel's 3 miles, 9 miles, 17, 13, 17 and 22, so you can build and build and build. And we've also got 2 new walks called Beating the Bounds, which we're going to launch this summer. There's Horsehair Jack. He's a real character. He used to steal the horsehair from the farm lads and then go and sell it in Driffield and Malton. That's the actor who actually played Horsehair Jack on the launch walk. There's Crew Mabel with a pram. She was born in 1900 in Little Driffield, and as I say, never lived a day in a house. She was orphaned and lived her whole life on the Green Lanes. And then this year, we've decided to try to run a walking festival. It's the first time we've done this, so anything could happen. But 17th to 24th of June, we've got 19 fully guided free walks, including, I'm really pleased to say, an anniversary walk with the guys from the Yorkshire Wolds Way. And we're going to walk a little bit of the Wolds Way and a little bit of the Wold Rangers Way. We've got a significant number of miles to walk over that week, and we're going to use Driffield Showground as a bit of a centre for people to come and camp and obviously utilise local B&Bs and hotels, etc. And I'm really hoping we can make that an annual event. So that's everything for now. I've got to, unfortunately, shoot off now to pick up my son who's come back from Australia. But if you want to contact me, any questions, any information, download the maps. The information's on the website. Thank you very much.
Morning, everyone. Lovely to see everyone here today. And 40 years for the Yorkshire Wolds Way, which is fantastic. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on, what we're planning in this year. Lots of things that people can get involved with. Just a reminder, I'm sure you all know, but the trail, 79 miles long, 6 days of walking if you're up to the whole thing. But most people, of course, break it down into different stretches. Starts down on the Humber Estuary at Hessel, and then follows this fantastic route over the crescent of the Yorkshire Wolds, hopefully one day to be AONB, and it meets Filey on the coast, where it meets the Cleveland Way coming in, and also the England Coast Path these days. So just a little bit then, a reminder of the origins. It was the Ramblers Association who came up with the idea of the Wolds Way in those days. They saw a fantastic opportunity to promote this area. A lot of the national trails that were developing were in the more sort of popular locations. Pennine Way, of course, is the classic, the original. So they spotted an opportunity over in the Yorkshire Wolds, and it took some years to develop. They came up with their first idea in the 70s, but it was back in 1982, October, that the first opening took place, the official opening. Then we have the 25th anniversary, which we enjoyed, and lots of people gathered. We had a lovely walk there. That was, where did we go? We went Thixondale through to Huggett and had a big splash-up meal at the pub at Friday Thought, which closed for 10 years. So I think we bust them at the time, but of course they're back up and running again now. So I thought I'd just mention numbers briefly, just to show people will have this. They'll realise anyway that walking shot into popularity with the pandemic. So it was our gain. Sometimes there were challenges there, as we have new users in the countryside who need more understanding of the countryside code and everything else. But overall, it's a massive gain for us. I'm showing our counters here. We have 4 people counters along the trail. The one down on the left-hand side is hard for me to see, but Staxton is the one which has our long-distance walkers, where you don't get many day walkers there. And you can see how, over the years, that one has doubled. So we see things really gaining. But in the last 2 years, in some places, we've had double the usual numbers of walkers, which is fantastic. It will probably drop a little bit now we're coming out of the pandemic, but I suspect it will still stay higher than it's been before. Okay, I'll move on. So we've got lots of things happening this year for our 40th, and I've got to thank Visit Hull and East Yorkshire, who've been fully engaged with this and helping us take it forward and coming up with ideas. Fab at 40 is one of our big things. We're inviting people to come up with their favourite things to do along the Yorkshire Wolds, when it's a reminder that it's much more than the walk. It's about all the different experiences. It's about the cafes and tea rooms. It's about the pubs. It's about things like Vineyards, Alice here, Little Wold. It's about Wold Top Brewery. It's about the dry valleys. It's about sitting at poetry benches. There are so many different things that people can pick up on and say, that's a great experience along the Yorkshire Wolds Way. So we're asking people to submit their ideas. We're going to pick the best 40 of those. And that is going to be a guide that we're going to produce in time for the actual anniversary date. And as I said, we're working with Visit Hull and East Yorkshire on this, and we have this landing page for the anniversary on their website, and people can submit their ideas there. We're going to pick the best 40 of those. So that's the web page there that you can go to. We're also relaunching, we did this with our Secret Art project, we're relaunching our poetry benches. So 3 of our locations along the trail we're going to have as poetry points. This was a great thing that we've done in the past, where people can just sit, they can relax, they can take in the landscape, and we invite them to write poetry and how they feel. But a lot of the time you have fantastic poetry that people come up with. We're going to pick the best 20 of those, and we're going to put an ebook out as, again, part of our celebrations. So those are going to be, I'm putting them in actually later this week at 3 bench sites, and they'll be out for about 12 weeks. The big walk then, we've got actually quite a few walks happening. Mark mentioned one of them. But with the countryside team and the annual walking festival, we've got quite a lot of walks happening. But our big walk, 2nd of October, is the actual date of the anniversary, and we are going to do the whole walk in a day, working closely with the Ramblers Association, breaking it up into 7 sections, and so in total we're hoping to have about 250 odd walkers out on the trail. There'll be lots of cake, of course, and hopefully have a big splash on that day. And hopefully the weather will be kind as well. You never know in October. Can be. Okay, that's a bit of wishful thinking there, because I don't think the Queen will be available. But we are going to have a legacy project where we're going to plant 40 trees as part of our celebrations. We've got a site in mind at the moment, and will involve lots of people to come in and do the planting. And then we've got something for the future as well, which is a great thing as part of our celebrations. Final thing then we've got for the year is that we appointed official artists for the trail, and some of you may have seen their work. That's Ian and Steph Mitchell. And so they've been spending the year, and they're still on it, putting together pieces of work and pieces of inspiration for the Yorkshire Wolds Way and the Yorkshire Wolds. They're very different in their artistic style, are Ian and Steph. So you may have seen some of their work. Ian is the sort of stylised, stripped back views of the landscape, and Steph engaging much more with the natural side, the nature, grasses and what have you. They're putting this work together, and it will be an exhibition. We've got Bridge Spa booked from September through to December. We've got the Treasure House in Beverley that it'll be going into after that as well. So, that's a real celebration in an artistic form of the Yorkshire Wolds Way. We're going to we've got a short promotion of what it's all about. It's the 40th anniversary of the Yorkshire Wolds Way. coming up. We're here at Friday Fork, which is the very central part of the Yorkshire Wolds Way, right in the middle. And you are both our official artists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've lived in the Wolds for half of our lives now, 30 years.
And what kind of draws you to this area? What inspires you of the landscape of the Wolds?
Well, for me, it's the real steep, dry valleys and the white chalk tracks and the light that glances off it gives it a real sculptural quality.
Yeah, it's something that's really special and unique to this area, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now, Steph, you've walked the Yorkshire Wolds Way before in its entirety. Was that a great experience for you?
It was a really good experience. It's the landscape. It's such a calm environment to be in, and a gentle pace. It's a gentle walk.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about your artistic styles, because I know they're quite different.
Well, I'm a painter and a printmaker, and I print directly from plants. So that's a very old, historic technique. And it allows me to document walks as I'm walking through the landscape. But my painting is completely different. Still starting with the same subject matter. I work abstractly and abstract the energy of a place and elements, soft and light and weather.
So Ian, how do you create your work from what you see?
Well, from my point of view, it's all about getting into the landscape, immersing myself in it and walking in it. And I take quick pictures as I'm going along with just a basic camera, snaps, views, things that inspire me. And then I'll take those pictures back and I'll redraw those digitally. So all my work's digital, but it's all hand drawn.
Oh, fantastic. And you're hoping to put together a series of your artwork for an exhibition. Did you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Well, from our point of view, it's a real chance to celebrate our work in one place, and also a chance to celebrate the Wolds and the trail itself.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and it would be great to bring people out to see your interpretation of the Wolds.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully it might encourage more people to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you to both Mark and Malcolm there. With our next section, I'll just let Alice, Karen and Tor gather their thoughts. Our next section is from businesses who are going to give us some inspiration around adapting and innovating and working together. So can I ask Alice to come through first, please?
My name's Alice. I'm one of the owners of Little Wold Vineyard. For those of you that don't know, Little Wold Vineyard is literally situated over the hill that way, and we were first established in 2012 as a part of a farm diversification. I'm one of third generation of what was Marketplace Farm, and my brother still lives in the farmhouse in the middle of the village, and we're one of the last working farms in South Cave. Like I say, it was planted as a diversification. Little did we know that 10 years, it's our 10-year anniversary, there we go, rings in it, down the line, and we'd now be growing in the ground. We have over 20,000 vines, producing around 15 to 20,000 bottles a year, and with a brand new tourist attraction sat on the Wolds Way. Pre-COVID, the majority of our business and income came from our weddings, and also our vineyard tours and sales. Our wine production only started in 2016 and is gradually built. But in 2018 was our biggest vintage that we had done. The wine was then ready, it's ready sort of the following year and the year previous to that. So it was the first time when COVID hit really that we were sat on quite a lot of stock. Generally for us, around 70% of our wine was sold through our tours, about 10% online and 20% to trade. For our weddings ran for 2 to 3 days over a weekend. And of course, the season for us, as we were in a marquee at the time, ran from May to September. But this all had to change. So during COVID, we realised that our business was going to have to change drastically to survive. Our sales of our wine, we pretty much lost all of our direct trade because it was through our weddings and events, which were no longer able to go ahead. And we obviously lost all of our trade to the restaurants and hotels, etc., that were selling the wine. So what we had to do was move online, which we did successfully, and we saw a raise of over 130% in our wine sales direct through the online shop. We did that mainly through social media. As a small business, we don't really have a marketing budget, so that was me, talking to people, doing lives and different things with other businesses. We worked with a lot of our wedding suppliers who worked locally, and also within the Wine GB network, other different producers, trying each other's wines and just trying to keep people engaged in the product. I was lucky enough to get selected to fly the flag for Shop Independent for Holly Tucker, who runs the Not on the High Street. And we also managed to blag, and I don't know how, a feature on Escape to the Country, where they were filming in the area and actually came and filled up at the Vineyard as one of their destinations where they talked about the area. One of the things that we did as well was move the tasting tours to virtual. I had no idea how this was going to work. Again, quite a lot of blagging goes on in my business to keep things going. Winging it, we should call it, I suppose, a bit more formally. But we took it online. A bit different in that normally when people are in the vineyard, obviously you've got the background to show them, we can walk them round and tell them our story. And suddenly I was sat in my back bedroom delivering the same thing. However, in the January, from them slowly building up, we had 60 people sat on a virtual tasting all around the country. So suddenly it wasn't just people on our doorstep, it was people in Essex, up in the Highlands, we had people from Wales, all over the country suddenly drinking Yorkshire wine in their bedrooms. So actually, it worked. The other thing, once we started to open up, we introduced was picnics. Now, catering wasn't something that we'd previously offered for our weddings, and we had external caterers that came in. But we got in touch with the council and we had a prep kitchen sorted out, which used to be our exhibition trailer, and we started doing picnics. The vineyard itself is sat on 30 acres and the vines are nice and well spread out. So I contacted again some local suppliers that would help me put this picnic together and tried to specialise it to the wines. So we looked at cheeses and things like that and put 15 picnic pitches around the vineyard. People booked them online, were told their picnic pitch before they arrived. So that meant when they arrived, they would go straight to their pitch. It was completely non-contact, and they had the pitch for 2 hours where they could telephone one of us if they wanted anything to go out to them, but just enjoy the countryside and be out again. These were a huge success, and again, kind of helped to carry us through that really tricky time. The Yorkshire Wine Trail was also launched during lockdown. I'm not the only vineyard in Yorkshire, believe it or not, there are a few of us. So again, just trying to work together to promote each other. And I think that's something, it seems to have echoed throughout today. It's about working together to promote each other, not just yourself. And when we started to do that, again, we were seeing more people, especially from down south, coming up to see us, and in different parts of the countries who perhaps wouldn't have known we were there if it wasn't for the group. From a wedding perspective, we had to change that radically. Again, we'd run from May to September. We realised that if we were to move forward and not lose all of our bookings from that year, we had to be a year-round venue. We also introduced the elopements, which again was something we hadn't done before, but with the restrictions that were on weddings, quite often they were allowed up to 10 guests. We halved that and said they could have 5, just to be on the safe side and try to ensure they weren't going to cancel us again. But again, it wasn't massive, but it was something, and it kept us at the forefront of our customers' kind of attention and allowed those people that wanted something small to still go ahead with their weddings. Trying to keep all of the other businesses that we work with florists, caterers, photographers, videographers, stylists, cake makers, all sorts of people come together to make our weddings. So by doing a style shoot, we were able to showcase everybody's work still, as well as the extra things that they were doing to keep them going through lockdown. So photographers were trying to do family shoots, florists, we had a local florist who was doing bike rounds, taking flowers to different people. So again, it enabled us to all work together and keep our business at the forefront. Finally, we decided to extend. So we looked at, we planted more vines. like I say, we realised that we could not be reliant on 6 months of the year to make our business viable. It just wasn't possible. So we applied for planning to extend the small building that we had and make us a year-round destination. And we also focused on our own skills. I was actually trained to be a primary school teacher, nothing to do with marketing, sales, wine making, wine drinking, wine branding, cleaning, the massive list of things that I do. But again, we took that time to learn more, find out more about our area and what we could do really to make our business better when we were able to open up. Looking to the future then, like I say, it was a difficult time, but I hope now we have a more diverse business, a business that can withstand lockdown again if something like that happened. We've built the extension now, which means we can run year round, and we're not just reliant on a couple of months and good weather to keep things going. We're still working with a lot of other businesses, and that is something that we'll continue to do and to build on, working on the Yorkshire Wine Trail, as well as within the wider Wine GB network with other vineyards from around the country to really promote wine tourism. We're also in the process of building our own winery on site to try and make everything as local and regional as possible, and also to help obviously with the sustainability aspect of everything that we're doing. From a small team of 3, me, my dad and my brother, we now have about 12 people working for us, and was one of the other things that we were really grateful to be awarded with during lockdown was Farm Diversification of the Year by Farmers Weekly. So again, we've really tried to go on that and just keep it at the forefront of people's minds. There we go, that's us.
Everybody, just like to say thank you for the invitation to speak to you this morning. I'm Karen from Mires Beck Nursery. Mires Beck Nursery, for those of you who don't know, is a local charity in North Cave. We've actually been there for 37 years, and I've been a charity for 28 years. And equally this year, it's our 10th anniversary of our Queen's Award for volunteering. So another anniversary to celebrate. The nursery started as a project to grow wildflowers of Yorkshire provenance. The nursery has grown to hold a wildflower bank over this period of time of over 100 species of wildflowers that are distributed to conservation projects all across Yorkshire. However, the main work of the charity is really the care side of the charity that is our primary focus. We look after nearly 100 adults a week who have learning and physical disabilities. During lockdown, unfortunately, as all businesses, we had to close and all of our service users as vulnerable people became isolated. And the operation that we would normally deliver disappeared overnight. We had to learn how to deliver a remote service to people who were being isolated from society in total. And even today, some of our service users are still not back at their day service. And we've worked very, very closely with the councils during this time to deliver everybody back safely. We're about 85% of the way there. So we've made massive strides to survive in this period and keep everybody receiving the kind of care that they would normally have in a physical situation, but delivered as a remote perspective of that. Over the years, the work of the service users at the nursery have developed a huge plant range of perennial plants. And we supply over 24 garden centres in Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. And this year we'll grow around 40,000 plants. We're also open to retail. And the distribution in the COVID years actually worked in our favour because whilst people couldn't go anywhere other than a garden centre, the demand for our plants increased. So we've also this year started to supply some of the heritage destinations. So you'll see our plants at some English heritage establishments from this season. We also grow over 50 varieties of herbs, and this year we've ventured into raising the awareness of our herbs as botanicals, and we've designed a gin that will launch this summer. We also grow Phragmites. For those that don't know, these are water reeds that support the structure and help stop soil erosion of water projects, and we supply these in vast quantities and work with people like North Cave Wetlands, who this year will supply over 25,000 Phragmites to their new project ongoing there. What COVID forced us to do was look at how we sustain the business through this period, whilst the future of being a day service looked very bleak. Fortunately, at that time, the East Riding had been given, with a view on the environment, very high tree planting targets to try to offset the carbon emissions on the planet. And we decided to engage in this project with, at the time, was Haywood's steering group, which have now become, as of last week, the new Humber Forest. And we went from planting 7,000 trees a year to this year we will grow over 360,000 trees for that and many projects. This has allowed us to diversify in a way that will give us more sustained income through the winter months when we don't trade the plant business. And we've also expanded that operation to a new site in Pocklington. So we have a second satellite tree nursery that's just got up and running there. We were very proud to enter the Rural Business Awards last year, and we were awarded the charity section category for the north of England and Scotland. And it was a very proud moment for Yorkshire to have the best charity in the north in our area. We went into the national awards, and sadly we didn't win, but we were the runner-up. So we were the second best charity in the country that entered those awards. So we were extremely proud. And you have this award for a year, and this is why Julia thought it would be a good idea to come and celebrate that award with everybody here today. On the back of that, we're also wanting to raise awareness of other projects that we're involved in. So this year we have put forward a project for Humber Coast and Vale Green Social Prescribing, and we were funded to start to deliver an art programme at the nursery, which will begin next Saturday. And the focus of this is to help people who are suffering from depression, anxiety, isolation post-COVID, to come and learn about art in nature. So it was interesting to see on the Yorkshire Wolds video the artists doing very similar work. And we'll be working with two people, Fiona Cayley and Emma Bateman. So if anybody knows anybody who would like to come and join our art group, just get in touch. We're about to launch our own cafe on site. It won't be a big cafe, but it'll be a cafe that just supports the customers who are visiting us for retail, where currently we've had no facilities, and during COVID we haven't even had a toilet that they can go to. But we're not allowed to use our community building anymore for groups, for our service users. And we do have a commercial kitchen there, so we're going to, just for the summer months, be able to offer people good tea, coffee and cake. So if you're ever visiting the nursery, please come along. And enjoy the cafe. Now more than ever, as Katie said at the beginning, these are very, very difficult times. and with the cost of wage increases and even distributing our plants, which have always been delivered for free, we have to now look at changing our model to be able to sustain the charity and grow the charity for the future. We need constant funding. We're constantly looking for sponsorships, constantly looking for volunteers. It's a never-ending task of keeping the charity going. So any help that anybody can give us, if anybody's got any volunteering time, please come along. If anybody's got any sponsorship opportunities, please get in touch. So what I've got to show you is 2 videos. One, I'm going to cut it in half because it goes into a teaching that you don't want to see, but hopefully it'll give you a little bit of insight about the charity and about what we're doing with trees.
Beck Nursery offers a caring and supportive environment where people develop the skills through being involved in a real working commercial and conservation organisation. In all that we do, we strive to achieve the highest of standards. We put respect and commitment first. We focus on well-being for everyone at the heart of the operation and encourage a harmonious working environment. We honour the effort made with our service users and the skills in producing quality plants and trees for our customers. Our success is dependent on the dedication of our staff to train and the willingness of our service users to learn. We recognise all the individuality amongst our diverse team structure, and that remains connected to the charity's ethos, impacting positively on the whole.
Hello there, and welcome to another exciting video from Beck Nursery. I'm Steve Mires. I'm the head of habitats here at Beck. We are going to talk a little bit today about the importance of trees, about cell-grown trees and how you plant cell-grown trees. Now, we've had a lot of requests on this. It's a little bit different from how you might have conventionally done it with bare roots. So we'll give you a little bit of a demonstration out here, and then hopefully your plantings will go really well in the future, and that's great. Trees are fantastic. They give us the oxygen we breathe, so without them, we wouldn't exist when it comes down to. They help prevent flooding, they suck in lots of different pollutants, they create wonderful habitat for such a massive variety of different insect species and wildlife in general. They have so many benefits. They can improve mental health. They are absolutely wonderful, and you are helping everybody in the countryside and the entire nation by planting lots of trees. Our cell-grown trees have very few drawbacks. As you can see, all of our roots are in the cell, meaning that we're not disturbing them, we're not taking them out, we're not breaking them or anything like that. So they don't have to recover when you put them in the ground. It can survive in that root ball for a period of time if it got really dry or it got really wet or even some frost came along, and then come out as soon as the conditions are better, basically. So it would be fantastic. They're easy to carry around, they're a perfect shape. So you can plant everyone in the same way. It's really easy to divide them up and keep them watered on site. We've had so much positive feedback from all our many customers have been able to plant them faster, about 60% faster, and for all that, they're only about 5% more than a bare root tree. So loads of advantages and not much more expensive.
In 2019, it was our Silver Jubilee 25th anniversary as a charity. And to celebrate the anniversary, we planted 350 silver birch trees with the aim of our community taking up adoption of these trees to fundraise for our new building on site. If you don't have a garden or green space to plant a tree for the environment, you can adopt a tree at Beck. Did you know that a silver birch can live up to 150 years? To find out how you can adopt a tree for £10, you can go to our Beck website, to our fundraising donations page, or contact us by our phone or email address.
So I'd just like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity just to talk about the charity.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Carver. I'm from William's Den, one of the co-owners. I guess the first thing to say is it's always easy for a business like ours to sort of think, well, surely everybody knows about us. They know they must drive past us every day, if they're heading to Leeds. But one thing that has become clear to us during lockdown, was when we were examining what we do and who we are and who knows about us, was quite a lot of people don't know about William's Den, and that includes people in Walkington, Beverley, literally this region have never heard of us. So I just want to start by explaining what is William's Den to you. First and foremost, we are a place where imagination runs wild. Our vision has been to create an environment to help families raise happy, courageous and resilient kids. We do. So William's Den, for some of you who don't know where we're even positioned, we're literally across the field from Katie can look at us every day and we can look at Katie from within the indoor den. We're a family-focused visitor attraction, all about play, adventurous play, indoors and outdoors, whatever the weather. A place where friends and family of all generations can come together and they can make very special memories together and have a lot of fun. We focus on fun. Our indoor den is bespoke. There's nothing like it that we're aware of in the UK. It was built by leading play experts from the UK and in Europe. We've used natural materials wherever possible, including, we were able to actually use some trees from our woodland, which was great. We didn't think we would be able to initially, but actually, it's nice to be able to go around the den and think, that came from Labour Wood. The indoor den boasts a rainmaker. Children can cross stepping stones with rain dropping around them, but actually remain dry. They can paddle in a stream, which is all indoors, and they can dam the stream, and they can also climb up and down a hollow oak tree with an eagle's nest at the top. Just a few of the features of the indoor den. The indoor den is open all year round. It gives us longevity across the year. And the other wonderful feature that it's a real favourite of mine, we designed the den to give children a panoramic view of the countryside. So for all that were indoors, they felt they could touch the rain or the snow or hear the wind. It's a very sensory experience for grown-ups and children alike. Outdoors is one giant playground which allows children to literally run free, use their imaginations, and really play in the old-fashioned sense of the word. We believe children need to be free to play. They need great big wide open spaces. And they need to play like we did when we were children. It's really good for them. It's very healthy for them, healthy for body and mind. And it's something that we are very, very determined to almost spread the gospel. It's the gospel according to William's Den. It's how we should be bringing our children up. So apart from that, families can also explore the meadows together and take a stroll through our magical woods. What I must say is that none of the play equipment is soft, and that is deliberate. The play offer is designed so that children can learn about risk and grow in confidence at their own pace. It's what all of the experts talk about, but it's actually just how we were brought up when we were children. We were exposed to risk, and we learned that some things we couldn't do or we weren't comfortable with in doing, and we took it at our own pace. We don't cover anything in soft plastic, cotton wool or anything. It's for some parents that's a big thing. and they don't initially get it, but I think there's more and more evidence out there, and schools are embracing it, forest schools are embracing it. I think anyone who decides to come to Williamsden is aware that things might just sort of raise the old heartbeat a bit if you're a parent. I've been there before, I know what it's like, but all of the play features are designed for adults and children to play on. And that was a deliberate decision too. We wanted families to get involved in play. So we encourage mums, dads, grannies and grandpas all to have a go and really get involved. We're very proud of our eco credentials. It was a deliberate decision, again, to create something that we'd be proud of in 50 years' time, that wouldn't damage the environment, that was sustainable. And we did as much as we possibly could, and at great cost at times. So we installed a biomass boiler to heat the building. We've put solar panels on the main play barn to generate electricity, with a rainwater harvesting system to flush the loos. We've used wood wall boards to insulate and soundproof the building. And another thing we did was we used hemp blocks in the walls and hardcore, which is sort of like a hardcore equivalent made of recycled glass that's under the floor. We only use recyclable or compostable disposables in the restaurant wherever possible. It's quite tough to always get that right, because manufacturers sometimes say it is 100% compostable, and then you go a bit further down the line and realise it isn't. So we're almost there, I think. Coffee cups and lids are still a bit of an issue. And I mention eco-credentials because actually the consumer, we believe, for all... It isn't the reason why they book to come to Williamsden. I think it ticks a box for them that they think actually this business cares about the environment, and we want our children to grow up caring about the environment. It's at the fore of the mind. It ticks a box, makes them feel good, we believe, about their ticket purchase. Why Williamsden is it came about because we have a son called William. I have a brother called William. And we watched William at home in the garden. We've got a stream that runs through the garden. We saw how his friends behaved when they came to our house, and they went absolutely crazy because we're on the edge of a wood as well, and we'd let them paddle in the stream and go into the wood, build dens, and they never wanted to go home. The shrieks of joy and absolute delight, and these are children who have everything. You know, children today do have everything. They've got all the electronic devices you can shake a stick at, but actually what they wanted to do was get cold, wet, dirty, build constructions in a wood and with no parents around. So it got us thinking, and we owned a farm and we had some buildings, and we thought, why don't we do this? I think there's a need, and we think there's a gap in the market. Williamsden is all about food as well. We care very deeply about the food we feed the families that come through the door. I'm a farmer's daughter. I was brought up to cook from scratch. I couldn't bear going to visitor attractions where all you could get were chicken nuggets out of a freezer bag and, if you were lucky, lukewarm fries. And so what we decided was the menu was as important as anything else in our we call it the kitchen table in our restaurant. We put a wood-fired pizza oven in because we recognise that some children don't see fire ever. They've never experienced flames. So it was a sort of feature for them to look at, and they often walk up to the pizza oven to talk to the pizza chef to ask about the flames and how the fire started and how long you have to burn they're actually wood blocks, and how many you need to make a pizza. But actually what we've noticed recently is we think we've confused people by calling it the kitchen table restaurant. The kitchen table means a lot to me because everything happens at the kitchen table in a farmhouse. But people who are not brought up in a farm don't recognise that, don't understand what we're talking about. So we're actually rebranding the restaurant, and we're just going to call it William's Pizzeria, because that's what we do. And it's really simple. The menu's more extensive than that. But I think hopefully the message will get through quicker, especially if we put it on a sign on the road heading into North Cave. In 3 seconds, people might get that, and hopefully will understand that they can come in. So we also make ice cream on site, and that was really important to me. We don't have dairy cattle, we don't have our own milk, don't produce our own milk, but we wanted to support the only creamery in East Yorkshire, which is St Quintin's, and amazingly they can deliver to us on a regular basis, not as regularly as before pre-COVID, but still often enough for us to make many litres of ice cream a week. And we're actually just trying to, put more effort and energy into our ice cream and making sure people know that we make it on site. We've been hiding our light a little bit, so that's something else we're looking at. We also care very deeply about where we get our ingredients from, so we do buy our meat locally, our fish, our milk, wherever possible. We use local suppliers, and we will continue to do that. I didn't really want to focus on the horrendous impact of COVID because we were shut for 10 months out of 2 years, and I think we went through every emotion possible, lost more sleep than I will ever be able to get back. But we came through it, and we came through it because we took the time when we weren't allowed to be open to look at how the business had been running in the only 2 and a bit years before we were forced to close. And I would say that is the biggest plus for us as a business, because we looked at numbers and we thought, right, what works, what doesn't work, what do people want, what don't they want? And actually having adapted through COVID, and yes, we introduced woodland walks, and we changed the way we worked. People had to book 1-hour sessions instead of being able to come for the whole day. There was a lot we took away from COVID, and having that time to examine where we were going wrong, I think. So we feel we're just coming out of it so much stronger, being able to add to the team. We have embraced a number of things on this side of COVID, introduced camping, and it's a very basic model of camping, no electricity. And last year we didn't even have, we had loos, but we didn't even have a shower block. And this year we're going to have a shower block and loos again in the camping field, but again it's still off grid. It's simple camping, and families love it though, because what we've tried to do is combine that with a ticket to William's Den. So it's really good value, as Katie was saying. I think that is so important. What customers are going to be looking for in the next year or two is absolute value for money, and we hope certainly that we can continue with the camping for years to come, and add to it year on year. We extended our food menu. We actually managed to find a chef. We terminated our membership scheme. So what we decided to do during COVID was we couldn't guarantee when people were going to be able to come again and have full access again. So we decided, no, that has to go. We did start a new events programme. We recognised that introducing an events programme to the year would be the way to go, the way forward. And we're still trialling it, but I'll let you know this year what we're up to is we've got a big Williams Easter egg extravaganza. We're introducing Saturday night pizza nights from this weekend till the end of the summer. We will have a Williams Sunflowers experience. I don't know if anyone saw Peter Levy in our sunflowers last year. We managed to get up north. And we're going to do another big Williams Pumpkins and Halloween experience, bigger and better than last year. And for the first time this year, we're going large at Christmas, which is terrifying because it does mean you have to invest a lot of money in it. But it's what our families are wanting. The camping, yes, it's back to nature family. It's a back to nature family camping experience, and this year on Saturday nights, that's one of the reasons why we've introduced the pizza nights, because we wanted campers to have something to do on a Saturday night with some live music, and we're just going to keep it very low key, but we think that just adds a little bit more to the experience. Finally, I'm going to talk about customer behaviour, and unfortunately our expert Annalie couldn't be here today because she's not well, but we are very fortunate we have this amazing lady who understands customers and talks about the customer experience all the time. She sees everything we do from the customer's point of view and is very good at evaluating where we're at with customers' needs. COVID obviously changed the way customers behave, but it also changed what they needed from us as a business. And from our point of view, we spent a lot of time training our front of house team to ensure they recognised signs, you know, that understand when a mum and dad are coming to Williamsden, they may not have slept very well the night before. They may have had a child who was sick in the car on the way to Williamsden. They may have needed to stop 3 times for the loo. So it's really important how we greet people, how we look after them if they're in a queue, and also how we speak to them. We care. They're spending their money with us. So Annalie highlighted, you know, 4 areas that she thought we should be looking at. It's, you know, post-COVID, and one was control. Customers want to be in much more control of what they're spending. They want clarity, they want transparency, and they want and need flexibility because COVID, drop of a hat, someone in the house has got COVID. We had to be able to say, don't worry, you can move your ticket to another day. Rarely did we would give people their money back, but at all, we tried everything before we had to give them the money back, but we would give money back. Experiences, customers wanted, and they want an experience when they come to Williamsden. They don't just want to play. They want everything around them to feel good and warm and kind of friendly, and it's almost like we have to give them a hug. That's how we have to feel about it when they come through the door, and that's the way we approach every family. We also recognise that consumers today do want to know about how we run the business, how we treat our staff, how we pay them, how much we pay them, and according to Annalie and our marketing manager, we need to confront that. We need to be really upfront about it, be honest, and explain what we do and how we work. And finally, individual needs. Each customer is different, and no, you can't treat a visitor at Williamsden in the same way as you did the previous visitor. So we you know, again, training is essential to ensure that we deliver the best experience we possibly can to our visitors. One last slide is we do feel that we're almost 5 years old this year, and it's time we really reached out to businesses in the area that we can help and that they might be able to help us, promote us, and we can promote them. And so we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to show you around. Come for a coffee on us, and we'll see if we can build partnerships, create packages, or itineraries if you're an accommodation provider. Get in touch. Please get in touch.
Seamlessly, we're going from Williamsden to William Hall, tourism manager. See what you've done there, Julia. So I'm William. I am the tourism manager for Visit East Yorkshire, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time today just talking through some of the updates in terms of our activity over the last year, what we've learned from some of that activity, as well as looking forward really to some exciting new opportunities and campaigns moving forward. So if I'm successful in the next sort of 15 to 20 minutes, you hopefully by the end will not only have a bit of insight into our campaigns and strategy, but also understand a little bit of the methodology behind our approach, and then ultimately how you can engage, benefit, and ultimately work with us. To start with, just a little bit about who we are and what we do. So we are Visit East Yorkshire. We're the tourism service that sits within East Riding of Yorkshire Council, and we cover a number of areas. Tourism marketing, so we've got a dedicated team focused on the marketing of the destination and managing our digital platforms, our website, our social media, as well as developing a number of visitor guides and generation of PR opportunities for the area. Our marketing team are also key to our visitor economy business engagement, and we've got Barbara, Carol and Liz that are here today. Another key area of our work is our tourism events and projects team. So responsible for the organisation and delivery of key tourism events within the region, ranging from events such as the Beverley Festival of Christmas, our Walking and Outdoors Festival, and just recently our European Open Beach Fishing Championships, which is probably the biggest event you've never heard of. But nonetheless, they're events and projects that are set up to bring people from outside of the area in and really drive that return of investment and economic benefits. The third strand is our visitor information services, so you'll be hopefully familiar with our Beverley and Bridlington Tourist Information Centres that obviously deal with our visitor inquiries, coach bookings, but also can help businesses in terms of website entries and almost a gateway into us as the Visit East Yorkshire team. We continue to work very closely across the region with our colleagues in Hull. So we've got the unique partnership of the Visit Hull and East Yorkshire partnership that is made up of the tourism services sat within East Riding of Yorkshire Council and also Hull City Council. And we work in partnership really on those key visitor economic priorities. And that partnership is vital in terms of our partnership, our engagement with the likes of Visit Britain, Visit England, opening up funding opportunities and delivering efficiencies and economies of scale where it can. And then finally, within the council, we have to work really closely with businesses, and it's key for us to work alongside our in-house business support team, which includes our very own visitor economy business advisor, which is Chrissy, and Harry's here as well from our business support team. So we work very closely with colleagues in business support. So next, really, I just want to start off by painting a little bit of a picture in terms of the volume and value of our visitor economy. As you can see, it's a sector that's nearly £1 billion sector for us, and that's seen growth from roughly 10 years ago. The value of this was around 600 million, so you can see the level of growth there. A couple of other numbers there as well in terms of 5.1 million visitor nights and 18.3 million day trips. Important to note, actually, day trips is an area that both nationally and regionally we tend to book the trend on, particularly over the last sort of 3 to 4 years. We've seen a massive increase in terms of day trips compared to the rest of Yorkshire and also England, which is really positive. But it's also an indicator for us that, well, really there's a real development opportunity there for us in terms of how do we convert those day trips into overnight stays and how do we cluster up product to ultimately get people to stay longer. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we aim to do that and our approach to that. So I'm going to try and take you on a little bit of a journey to help you understand who it is we're targeting, what it is they're interested in, why that's the case, and then how we're approaching it, and hopefully show you a few bits around that. So to start with, a quick sort of whistle-top tour of some of our target markets. We're blessed within the region to have such a range and diversity of product across the coast, countryside and our market towns. And this allows us to cluster up products and communicate to a wide range of visitors based on their preferences. So for us, it's thinking about the who before the how. So what's their age, the status, location, their life stage and income? What will entice them and engage them, their behaviours, their emotional drivers? And what are their preferred activities and type of accommodation and breaks? So these are some of our key segments based on our data and learning over sort of campaigns over the last year. So if I just run through these quickly, we've got 3 easy mini breakers. So these are our sort of young professionals interested in a range of activities, mainly outdoors, interested in local food and drink produce, outdoor activities, live music. Active in terms of some of the core social media channels such as Facebook and Instagram, and they really respond well to video content is what we've seen through some of our previous work. Aspirational families. So these are obviously the parents looking for those family days out, beaches, exploration, looking at caravan parks, camping, cottages, activities, just general family days out. And again, they respond really well across social media, and this is going to become a common theme in terms of the importance of digital marketing and social media. And especially with this target segment between the hours of 6 till 10, so you can sort of do the maths there. The kids are in bed and people are starting to scroll and engage with social media. So it's important we know those factors in terms of shaping our marketing and our technique. Yorkshire ambassadors, clues in the name there, living in Yorkshire, natural advocates with a passion for Yorkshire, nature, wildlife, food, drink, outdoor spaces, culture, local heritage. Unmissable events, again, engagement extremely strong, again, through good video content on social media channels and also on Instagram. And a particular focus in that group we've seen is looking for the best places to eat. Retired, easygoing, an older demographic, professionals, couples, children possibly left home, and possibly retired. They are the smallest audience that we look to target by size, but engagement and call to action is very strong. Interest again in food and drink, nature, shopping, relaxing, cultural activities, and food and scenic views are very strong within this segment. And then finally, quite a mouthful, but eco-conscious adventure seekers, that's quite a name, isn't it? A widespread age demographic, but we saw really strong engagement from 60-pluses in this area through some of our recent marketing. Interested in outdoor pursuits and scenery, wildlife, eco-tourism, local produce, sustainability. We've heard about some of that already today. And good engagement, not only through the social medias, but through blogs and those sort of mechanisms as well. So married with the who, it's all about the what as well. So we actually carried out a survey towards the end of last year and reached 5,000 people linked to a competition we ran. So a really good sample. Of that 5,000 people, 49% had already stayed and visited within East Yorkshire and 51% had not. So a really good split for us. Nearly 90% of those that hadn't stayed in our region before were open to considering East Yorkshire as an option, which indicates we were fishing in the right pond. And over 80% of these are likely to book a holiday in the UK this year. So we are expecting demand still to be very high, and although overseas holiday making will eventually bounce back, we really think that we're going to have a positive year in terms of visitation. So our aims are ultimately to understand the drivers for UK domestic holidaymakers moving into this year so that we could create and generate content that engages and inspires the visitor. So the top 5 drivers for destination choices we've got listed here. So as you can see, a lot of it about the outdoors, landscape and views, sightseeing, activities and walking routes. That's a little bit of a follow-on in terms of the impact of COVID and people wanting those open spaces. Food is an absolute massive driver in terms of how people are booking holidays at the minute. And dog-friendly, I think an element of the lockdown was there's a lot more dog owners now. And it's about how we can position the destination to provide a dog-friendly holiday or destination for them. And you can start to see, and I'm going to come into a little bit of creative concepts, how we're starting to use some imagery, our Visit East Yorkshire brand, and a couple of words really to start to position the destination, linking through to those segments. And again, this approach really is moving more into a world where we as people, as visitors, we're more than ever seeking experiences and seeking our bespoke experiences based upon our interests. Okay, and it's important that this is reflected in the way that we engage and interact with our customers. So the small graph, and it might not be all that visible here, but it's a sample really taken actually before the pandemic, but it's showing really the shift, particularly in the domestic market, of how people are not so much choosing the destination first, but they're deciding what to experience, and then moving on from there. So it's all about, I'm interested in walking, history, nature. Where can I have those experiences? And I'll book my holiday off the back of that. So this explains a little bit why we have migrated as a tourism department a little bit away from the Visit Yorkshire Wolds, Visit Bridlington and Visit Beverley brands to sell East Yorkshire more as an overarching destination and cluster up product in a way so we can talk to those to our visitors in that way with the right product. And those sub-brands we still use, they're still in our tool chest, if you like, they're our ammunition to draw visitors into the area, and those campaigns are still active, but that's the shift that we're seeing. So just before moving on to the how and showcasing some of the campaigns, I wanted to highlight really just our aims around this, and the core aims for us are quite simple in terms of we want to raise the awareness of the destination to more people, and we want to increase that value and volume of tourism that we saw on that opening slide. So there's a 3-tiered approach really for us of how we do that. So the first thing is, how can we inspire more people to come and visit and want to visit? How can we give them more reasons to come? So how can we support tourism businesses in development and growth? How can we generate potentially more events and projects? Ultimately, more product, more reasons for people to travel. And then finally, how can we ensure the visitor, the customer, has the best possible experience, from the inspire element to the booking element to the actual visit itself to even the follow-up after. So that's really important for us. So that digital journey in terms of that visitor experience. And here volunteering is a topic I will just touch on at the end. The how. How have we approached this? Well, with a number of ways really, but with our new strong Visit East Yorkshire brand, we've begun to engage and inspire audiences through a number of campaigns. And the one I wanted to show you today is what we like to call the Power of 3 campaign. So really it's using 3 words to build the brand, to showcase the region, and to evoke an action, to get somebody to click on something or to book. And it's all about aiming to inform, to surprise, to engage, using 3 words, powerful imagery and a real clear tone of voice. And through autumn last year, we launched this campaign with the ambition to continue to build on it this year, which we will be doing, and using predominantly social media and digital marketing, but other media and marketing as well. That's also included some TV advertising. And the overarching advert that I'm just about to show you has reached nearly 5.5 million people today, resulting in nearly 250,000 additional clicks to the website. So if you haven't seen it, and I'm sure some of you have, I'm just going to play the advert for you now.
It's time for a place where you can reflect and unwind, make new friends, pack your bags, set the pace, enjoy your flight, feel at home, dive right in. It's time to visit East Yorkshire.
So I guess that video really is sort of just the start for us, and a snippet of the direction of travel and our tone of voice and the type of inspirational video content that we're using to establish our region as a must-visit destination. And up on screen, we've got some further sort of creative concepts of our approach using new photography, the clever use of the 3 words to place the destination in the minds of our target markets, and using the themes and product that I talked about to entice them in. So see a couple of examples there. Great Yorkshire menus. You can see how that would resonate with these Yorkshire ambassadors or our free easy mini breakers. We've got the relax and enjoy, again, potentially the retired easygoing demographic that we've established. 3 words, simply just 3 words to promote the offer with a great image. You can see here in terms of buckets of fun and the appeal to aspirational families, a little play on words in terms of see something special. Our eco-conscious adventure seekers might be interested and pique their appetite by a good image and this marketing. And the importance of quality of imagery and video is really important. It allows the visitors to sort of place themselves in the picture when they see it on social media or they see it through any media. And it's important, and we will be continuing to invest in high quality photography and video for the region. And off the back of Tor's presentation there, you can see sort of the importance and the impact that video can have in terms of enticing customers and visitors to hopefully click on and book and engage. So it's important to sort of point out effectively that to meet our aims, we aren't just sort of one-dimensional. There are many other areas that we work within. I want to touch a little bit on competitions. Competitions is something we've seen some real great success on. We've run competitions in collaboration with businesses, with attractions, and are able to garner great data and also new customers. We just recently ran a Valentine's Day competition. It resulted in 2,600 new e-news sign-ups. So they're new customers that we can now talk to in the future about East Yorkshire and the product that we've got to offer. We seem to be entertaining press visits and journalist visits most week at the minute, which is really positive. They're really positive for the area. And in the last week alone, we've had some positive pieces in Daily Mail and also the Times travel sections. You'll see a little bit of literature on the stand. We are still producing some literature. It's still important for some of our target audiences, and also visitors in terms of their experience like to have these as well when they do visit. So for us, it's about sort of continuing to build on all of this, but the real big focus on the destination awareness campaigns is really through our digital marketing and social media. And I wanted to just share a few more examples of creative concepts to give you a feel of how we can adapt our messaging around those 3 words, link it to the product, and really showcase the region. So I've got one focused a little bit on sort of coast and exploring, and another one around food and drink. And these are the type of things that we want to be producing and using on social media to capture the interest of those audiences. more examples there, and you probably notice how, again, with the brand, we can have that interchangeable use of language to really look at product and position our messaging to our right sort of target market. So how can you get involved? So, well, ultimately, for us to be as effective as possible to maximise our resource and our campaigns and activity, it's about knowing what's happening, what's up and coming, what's new. We can then plan and factor them into our planning, into our campaigns. There may also be other areas of support with the wider service, whether that be business support, guidance, even support with possible new events or ideas that we have as a sector. And really, there's a number of areas that, if you like, are asks of ours to engage with us. And it's all about ensuring that, first and foremost, that use businesses are listed on our Visit East Yorkshire website. We've got great images that do your business justice. Any events that are up and coming, we want to know about them, again, so we can build this into our marketing and our planning. Offers and competition, I think, are still going to be big over the next sort of couple of years. So we'd love to work with you as businesses to develop those offers and competitions and really target those markets. It's about sharing and engaging. So not just you sharing our posts and our content, but which is what we want. It's also about how we interact with you and your channels and support your channels. And that two-way sort of conversation. And it is about starting that conversation, providing the stories for our content, and engaging with our campaigns. So just a little bit about what's new, just a couple of snippets. We've heard about some fantastic things already today that's new and up and coming. I won't go over the Yorkshire Wolds 40th anniversary because I know Malcolm's covered that in great detail. Puffins Galore is a project inspired by the success of moths Sarami and the larking toads. Some of you may remember them or recognise them, that we still have moths and toads in locations. So you'll likely see a number of puffins pop up around East Yorkshire. Again, some new great product up and coming. Festival and events. The main thing for us this year is to get all of those events back that we used to have in the region, all of those big events. And we want them to return and we want them to thrive. And we know there's a real appetite and pent-up demand for people to have those experiences and be part of events, festivals and projects. And there's a couple of sort of new concepts and trials that we've trialled over sort of the recent months, the East Yorkshire Festivals that many of you might have been involved with, and the Made in East Yorkshire Christmas markets that followed on from the Beverley Festival of Christmas. Gives you an idea of sort of the appetite and the development areas that we want to create more product and ultimately give people more reasons to visit and also then to stay longer, working with you as businesses to create that product. England's Coast, it's the year of the coast. It was originally meant to be in 2020, I believe. It moved to a bit of a 3-year programme, obviously because of the pandemic. But it's still a big market for us in terms of England's Coast is set up really to sell England's Coast to the world. And although that's shifted to really focus on domestic travel and tourism, there's still obviously that ambition that it's still a market for us, that international market and overseas travels there. We're actively involved with other coastal destinations in terms of planning and promoting those campaigns. And we're planning hard in terms of the celebration year, which is 2023, which is celebration of year of the coast. And we're starting to shape that activity. An example of some of the wider work that the business support team deliver, we've recently developed a retail sector guide that's been produced, all about helping businesses acquire customers, serve them, retain them. I think we've got some copies here today, maybe not for you to take away, but please do take a little look. But again, all about some of our business support sort of initiatives that we're looking at. And finally, I just wanted to highlight Hey Volunteering. Many of you may recognise the iconic blue-jacketed volunteers synonymous with the City of Culture Year, and we as V here have become the new home for the programme. It's all about providing volunteers with high quality opportunities to support the region they love, but to also support our cultural and visitor economy ambitions as a region. The programme supports organisations, venues, visitor attractions in arts, culture, heritage, and with skilled and experienced volunteers that are ultimately ambassadors for the region. So with the programme now expanding further into East Yorkshire, we'll start to see more of these sort of fabulous volunteers across the region. Part of the journey and vision when we talked about the visitor experience is that we really feel like they can help provide that friendly welcome in our towns and destinations, and we do have that vision for being the friendliest and most welcome destination and using the volunteers to support that. So there may well be a role our volunteers can support you with also, and I've got a little short video as well that just sort of expands on that a little further.
We love it here.
All the people to meet.
All the places to go.
All the things to do.
So that's why we do this volunteering malarkey.
To be part of something great, even in this weather.
To be in it together.
To do something that makes a difference.
When a place and its people have given you so much, you want to give something back.
And when you're proud of who you are. And where you live.
And everyone in your fantastic community.
You want to share that pride.
We're proud of where we began, and we can't wait for what's next.
Come and join us.
We're Hull and East Yorkshire. And it's brilliant.
It's ace.
I love it. We're here to help.
And we want to tell the world.
Exciting new chapter really for the programme, and the website for Here Volunteering is live, so please do check that out. It's herevolunteering.co.uk. We're currently actually in the recruitment drive phase of that to recruit some more volunteers, but just to give you a little bit of a snapshot, we have roughly 3,000 volunteers that are part of that programme, with roughly a 50-50 split in terms of postcodes and where those volunteers are from, in terms of Hull and also East Yorkshire. So for us, we've got a real vision of how we can immerse them in terms of our community, but also play a role in terms of our visitor economy and that experience that I've been talking about. Lastly from me, I just want to say a few words really on the changing picture for tourism, both regionally and nationally, just to give you a little bit of insight. The pandemic obviously provided an opportunity to review how tourism is approached nationally from a destination marketing organisation sense. A review and report was produced for government that made some recommendations about the possible future landscape and structure of the sector. And it seems like the item is very much still on the agenda, with even last week at DCMS, the committee looked at the UK tourism sector and the landscape of that. So we as V here, with industry, with businesses and partners, played our part in that review and have sort of had our say, and I think we're optimistic about any changes or recommendations that will be acted on that will ultimately benefit the sector and benefit businesses. Regionally as well, as sort of publicised, Welcome to Yorkshire have recently gone into administration. Some of you in this room may well have been members of. Again, I think some announcements are due quite shortly around that. I think it is important that we have a fit-for-purpose Yorkshire approach that is representative of all of Yorkshire. And we as East Yorkshire are supportive of a strategic Yorkshire approach that can help our sub-regional visitor economy ambitions, some of the bits that I've talked about today. But what I would like to say is that we are still very much standing by ourselves in terms of ensuring that we make sure that East Yorkshire is represented and we've got a voice and we've got our marketing almost tactics, if you like, to really raise the profile of our destination and increase the value and volume of tourism within the area. I think that's enough talking from me. Thank you very much. And I believe I'm passing over to Emma.
Well, thank you for inviting me to talk today. I'm speaking on behalf of the East Riding of Yorkshire Rural Partnership. I'd like to talk about what is the East Riding of Yorkshire Partnership, and also why am I here today. And the third thing is to highlight an opportunity. My first thing was, what is the East Riding of Yorkshire Rural Partnership? It's a forum or a partnership, a group of approximately 30 people, 30 members. They're from public, private and voluntary sectors. So, for instance, we've got, we work with the NHS, work with major landowners, Bishop Burton College, NFU, Grow Yorkshire, and those are just examples. But we've also got colleagues from East Yorkshire of riding, the council, work with Will Hall, etc. So what's the partnership about? It's about promoting the economic and social well-being of residents living and working in rural communities across East Riding. But what I'm doing here today is to talk to you about what's for future funding. So basically, there's potentially, and there's no guarantee on this, but there's potentially some future funding, a future opportunity. So what we need to do is be prepared. We need to know what you guys want, the network wants, from this new rural programme. So hence, that's my question today is, what does this network, what do you guys, what do local businesses want to see from a new rural programme? So if you either come and see me on the stand, or fill in this form, give it to me on the stand, or you can email, because on the bottom of the form you've got some contact details. Yes, so finally, please complete the form. It's your opportunity now. If we don't get any feedback from you now or within the next month or so, we won't be able to write the programme with your views in mind. Contact details are on the form. And just finally, thank you.
David. Oh, I've had a super morning. It's been so good to see everybody face to face again. No matter about you, I've had a wonderful time. It's been really good. So what can you do? Lovely venue, absolutely superb speakers. It's been tremendous. I've actually been involved with the local food and drink network and the tourism network from the inception. And as David's already said, it's the 20th anniversary of the local food and drink network guide today. So that gives you some idea of just how long I've been a councillor. I remember the first meetings as well of the tourism network when the challenge was people in tourism, actually the season is so short. It starts in Easter and ends in September. And the group got together to say, can't we have a network? Can't we work together to see what we can do to actually extend the season? So there's something going on all year. And obviously to do that, you need the help of the local authority and businesses and people getting together and talking about it and starting to think about what events we can put on all the way through the year that help people in that tourism and food and drink in those businesses to make a living for longer. And that's, I think, we're well on the road to making those changes and to helping you run your businesses as well. But we do that together. We do that by sharing information and working together. And that's, in my view, that's when we become strong. I think what is important as well is what we've heard this morning is the information we have to give people, the knowledge we have about each other and the information we have to share about what's happening round about us. And I think if you think of a perfect recipe, then it's somewhere fabulous to stay, somewhere great to go and eat and drink, and lots of stuff to do whilst you're here. And I think if you bring that together, which I think we're well on the way to doing in this area, then I think you've got a brilliant offer for people to actually attract them, not only from the West Riding, but further afield and bringing people from a further area. And there's certainly, as Will said, people are still looking locally rather than travelling abroad at the moment. I certainly have found this morning really interesting. Lots of information about what there is to do, as you say, and I think as well important to hear about the challenges people have had, what's important to them, not only about their business, about what they're doing in the area activities, but some of the challenges that I think probably lots of people have been able to identify with as well. And that's important. That's powerful, sharing that information. Networking is important. This event is important because it's given the opportunity to bring you together, to talk to people in the same position as you about the challenges you've faced, ideas, just having speakers up here or talking over coffee or when you've arrived. That's what we need. We need to talk to each other. And that's we understand as well, in small businesses, as we are here, that's tough because the marketing manager, the transport manager, the HR person, that's you. That's generally you, and you're doing it all, and you don't have the time to sort of lift your head and have a team meeting and discuss what you're going to do. Those decisions are yours, and those problems are yours, and it can be pretty lonely and sort of quite frightening from time to time. So these networks are important because that's the opportunity of making contact with other people in the same position, talking about it, sharing it, and maybe, you know, keeping those contacts, lifting the phone if you've got a problem, asking for advice, what did you do? And the East Riding is here as well, and that, I think we've sort of demonstrated that we're here for you as well. And we certainly are, and we want to help and we want to talk to you, and as I say, I think that's our strength. That just leaves me, because I'm between that photo and lunch at the moment, so that leaves me just to say thank you very much indeed for our superb speakers, and I think they need another round of applause maybe. Thank you very much to Julia, I know, who works so hard on the network's behalf, on both networks, so a big thank you to Julia. Thank you. So the final thank you has to go to you for coming and actually supporting each other and for helping us to help you. So thank you so much for coming. I've had a lovely morning. I hope you do. I hope you have too. Thank you.